Hello. Self-awareness. What is it? How do you improve it? And why is it important? So I think before even beginning your wellness journey or improving your mind or improving your relationships, any of that, self-awareness is the foundation to everything you do, everything. And it's not taught in school. It's never really taught by anyone, but it is a skill and you do learn it. So in this video, not only am I going to explain what it is and why it's important, but also I want you to, after you've finished watching this, I want you to have already improved your self-awareness. So I'm going to ask you questions that are quite uncomfortable, difficult ones, that will push you to actually become more aware of what you like, what you don't like, more about you. And that is the most important relationship any of us can have. And so let's just start. What is self-awareness? I think it can sound a little bit fluffy, right? Like, oh, okay, you hear the word getting thrown around a lot. But really, you are a person, and we spend our life getting to know our friends, our partners, our parents, our work colleagues, all of those things. So we're very aware of what other people are doing in their life and what they like and, who they are. But what about you? Do you have the perspective and the reflection to be like, oh, okay, this is who I am. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I like. And self-awareness is a lifelong journey. It's not just something that you have the next day or you can just lose. It's something that you keep investing in, but it can really change the game. And I think there are many ways to develop self-awareness and make it stronger. But I think the first thing before any of that is you've got to want to do it. I think as individuals, we've got to learn to want to get to know ourselves, whether that is an element of going on solo dates or just spending time on your own, but really being able to understand who you are will put you ahead in life. So whether you are a very high-performing CEO, athlete, whatever you may be, self-awareness is key. Whether you are a student at school and you're about to do your GCSEs, self-awareness is key. Whoever you are, it does not discriminate. It's so important to know yourself. And that means self-awareness of your body. It means self-awareness of your mind. It means self-awareness of your soul. 3 things. How can you become more in tune and aware of what is going on? So why is it actually important? To be fair, when I was younger, didn't really care, didn't really know why. And I think as I have grown up and used it more, I realized that self-awareness means you can navigate the world in a better way, but also you can shape your world in a better way. Because once you have that understanding, okay, I need this or I prefer this, and you can own that, and you're actually doing it from a place of security and trust in yourself, life becomes very different. Even the way you show up in relationships, even the way you handle your health, that self-awareness piece will bring you so much more clarity, but also joy and authenticity in how you live your life. So I actually think the best place to start with self-awareness is questions. Questions. Reflecting on what you've done, what your mind has done, how you feel. That is the first place I would start. And you can do this with friends. You can do this with yourself. You can journal it. But asking questions and getting really curious about who you are is, I think, the best starting point. And actually, it's pretty easy. So some of the questions I will ask you are going to be harder than the other ones. But, different levels, different games. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, on a daily basis, how do you feel when you wake up? So when you wake up, what is that emotion you feel? How do you feel about the world? How do you feel about yourself? That is the first question. So pause the video, take some time, you can write it down, whatever you'd like to do. Okay. The second question is, how would you describe yourself in 3 words? And how would you describe yourself? This is how you think about you. Okay, that's the second question. Again, you can pause, you can move on. How do you think others describe you in 3 words? So this is your perception of what others think of you. So how do you think others perceive you? What would they describe you in 3 words? What in life makes you feel most alive, and what drains you? And this can be people, it can be situations, it can be work. So what makes you feel most alive and what drains you? Okay, next question. When do you feel most powerful and when do you feel most powerless? And again, define what power means to you. Just ask yourself, okay, when do I feel most powerful? When do I feel most like fire and this is me, this is who I want to be? Next question. What compliment do I like hearing the most? So reflect on perhaps some of the things people have said to you and what compliment do you like hearing the most? Okay, and then the last question, because maybe I'll do a part 2 of this. I feel like there are so many questions that really help me with mine, but I think this next question is actually like particularly useful. Do I like myself? Simple. Do I like myself and why? And this one I think really spend a bit of time on because it can be quite hard to actually just be like, yeah, I like myself because of X, Y, Z, but actually think about it. Like, why do you like yourself? Why are you proud of who you are? And why are you excited to be who you are? So take time really here and think, okay, why do I like myself? And if you're doing this with a friend, it can be quite hard because you can feel a little bit like, ooh, like, am I boasting? Am I like really up myself? But no, like, ask yourself, why do you like yourself? I think often there's this thing about self-love and all of this, but actually, do you like yourself? And why? Okay. Now, with these questions, after you've journaled about them, after you've thought about them, really, already in this moment, you have probably discovered something quite new about yourself, or perhaps something that is on your mind, or something that is stopping you. And that in itself is self-awareness. Like, you've already done it. And I think sometimes we make these concepts really big in our head, but that is literally it. Asking yourself those questions, being really curious about who you are, what you like, what you want to do, is a really powerful way to learn about yourself, but also the world. And the way I like to think of self-awareness is think of it like a GPS. This GPS is going to guide you in the right direction, but you have to invest in it. You have to actually give yourself those prompts. You've got to push yourself to ask those uncomfortable questions. And even some of the answers you get won't be the ones you like. So for example, recently, I hate going to the pub. I hate it. And when I was obviously younger and in uni, that was just the culture. And even in the UK, it's just the culture. And I would just do it for the sake of it, even though I didn't enjoy it. But I literally sat down. I was like, Maya, it doesn't serve you in any way. And that self-awareness has meant that now, if I don't want to go, I won't go. Simple as. I own my self-awareness. I own those decisions and my likes and dislikes. And then I carry on. And it just means that I'm having more fun or I'm doing things I actually want to do. That's a very simple example. Another example would be just self-awareness of my body, right? It's really interesting. Sometimes you see people have a headache and they just carry on with what they're doing, or they've hurt themselves and they just carry on. But literally have the self-awareness that then you can make better decisions. Once you have that understanding that, okay, let's say my body's really tired, then no, maybe don't go out. Actually make the decision to stay in and rest. And so it's all well and good having the self-awareness, but then the bigger thing, where the power really lies is, okay, well, what are you going to do with that? So having the self-awareness, being able to build a relationship with yourself like it is someone else. So you really invest in learning about who they are, what they want. But one thing I am going to say is sometimes we can actually be too self-aware. And I definitely have experienced this where, you can kind of overthink everything and be so alert to any little thought you have or situation you're in. And I think that's where I liked the shift from making self-awareness this thing I had to just do and be good at, but rather see it as a GPS. And so I don't think you can necessarily have the perfect self-awareness, but the GPS shift reminds me that it's just like a compass and a guidance, and your self-awareness is very unique to you. So there's no point really comparing it to anyone else's. And that's why it's a relationship that you've got to develop on your own. Yes, use other people to help you, but it's definitely a relationship that you have to use on your own. So I think going forward, some other ways you can develop your self-awareness. One, just literally take some time on your own, without your phone, without the TV, and just spend a little bit of time with yourself. Now that can also include going on a solo date. So maybe you go for dinner on your own, or I don't know, you can go for a movie on your own, but just spend a bit of time with yourself. Second thing, keep asking those questions. Ask just questions about your day, about yourself, about, why did I not enjoy that? Questions beginning with how, what, why, they're very powerful because they allow you to reflect. And then the third thing I would also say is, the more we spend time like being present and not just like being in autopilot. So we're actually thinking, okay, did I enjoy this? Or, do I feel energized by this person? You kind of have to evaluate your life a little bit. It helps you to actually understand, how do you feel? And I think that's something that's really changed how I live my life, because I think, am I drained by this person or am I energized? And that is my GPS. So I think play around with it, try and challenge yourself, but also it's a really fun journey. The more self-aware you become, you will learn that you like different things, or you like different people, you like different situations, and that is really exciting. So that's what I have to say. Answer the questions. You can even answer them down below. See you next time.